Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to This Is The Whey. That's a much better way to announce the podcast, by the way. Welcome back to This Is The Whey. I don't have to say This Is The Whey.
Yes, the redundancies were a trip.
Welcome back to This Is The Whey, your one-stop shop for fitness, culture, nerd culture, and
lifestyle, nutrition, geeking out, being cool.
I was going to say everything in between, but that works too.
Whoops.
Yeah, welcome back to the show. This is episode 2. I don't know if we have like many plans this episode. We're just going to kind of wing it.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of have a focus. Really want to talk about nutrition, but what I did want to say was congratulations to me. I finished my first semester.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Took my last test on Thursday.
Man, that would have been really embarrassing if you had a bad high five on the podcast.
Yeah. Like I got a 92, and I got a 98 in the class overall, in my accounting class, and then I'm not even talking about my business communications class because that's a joke. It's like elementary school, but yeah, we celebrated, and you got this really awesome new game, Catan.
Yep. Not very new, as
No?
it turns out. Catan is not
Really?
new. That's been around since like the 70s or something like that.
I guess that's why the box looks kind of like old schoolish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh.
it's like one of the most popular games of all time, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Like board games at least, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Really?
No, never. I mean, it's very much like Risk.
You watched Parks and Rec
Mm-hmm.
when Ben had everybody over for his bachelor party? That's what they played. They played Catan.
I think I remember that vaguely. I don't know. The Office is better, so I might have just.
We're not gonna. That's a totally different episode. We're not even gonna talk about it.
I'm just saying, The Office is better. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think mainly we want to talk about nutrition a lot today, and I think that's a big part of focus, just because like, I mean, both of us in quarantine have like not really focused on our diet as much as we did when we were lifting. Like, there's just not as much of like an incentive to do that. It feels like, because you're not lifting all the time. You're not like putting in that work. So
I kind of have this mentality like my workouts have gone to crap, so my diet might as well go to crap. When it should really be the opposite, because like they always say 80-20, 80% what you eat, 20% what you do in the gym. So right now it's kind of like 99-1. So I should really be focusing on what I'm eating.
yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've been too terribly bad. I mean, like last night we celebrated when we were playing Catan, and I hope it's not pronounced Catan. That'd be embarrassing.
I'm pretty sure it's Catan.
It's 2 A's. Yeah. Catan.
Catan.
Cotton. Cotton.
Yeah.
What if it's cotton? It's not cotton.
It's definitely not cotton.
No. Anyway. But yeah, and we had, June was like, well, just to celebrate with some drinks. And then, of course, anchovies.
Because you and Tyler both finished your semesters this week. So I was like, both of y'all better take a shot, like, to celebrate. And, like, celebrate your finishing the semester and everything.
Yeah, and I'm all like, well, I don't want to consume sugar because I'm on this, like, I'm trying not to eat any, like, processed foods. And processed food is basically sugar. Like, that's what I think. Sugar and fillers. But I was like, I'm not gonna consume any sugar. So I was trying to like find like a drink that didn't have sugar, and I was like, well, that's basically gonna be like your hard liquors, which AKA take a shot. So I was like, I'll take one, and I'll take one.
And you were chasing it with water too.
Yeah, I don't drink soda. I haven't had a soda since I think 2010.
I probably exclusively drink sodas for chasers at this point. Unless you count energy drinks. I'll have a 3D or a Monster every once in a while.
See, I don't like carbonation. I hate the feeling of it.
I'm totally addicted to carbonation. I think that's why I keep coming back to like 3Ds and Monsters and stuff like that, just because like they're, it's the zero sugar thing, and like I don't know, just something about that carbonation. I think I'm totally addicted.
It hurts. It feels like when you like throw up, like that feeling, like the burning in the back of your throat. I don't know. That's unpleasant. Yeah, but I was like, I'll have one shot. Sure, one shot to celebrate. So you and your roommates, take a shot, and I'm like, that's it, that's it. And then I was like, I don't feel anything. I was like, well, if you're gonna drink, you're gonna drink to feel something. So I'm just gonna have another one. Another one is tequila, mind you. And so no. So let's do another one. I ended up doing 5.
I think 5.
I think,
that sounds
yeah,
right.
5. And yeah, it was a fun night. No regrets. No regrets.
Yeah.
I think that's the way you have to think of life. Like, you can't always be so strict.
Yeah, you end up like kind of backing yourself into a hole in that case if you're too strict on yourself. But you also have to look at it the other way, because like I've definitely fallen victim of it before myself, where like I get into that mindset of like, just treat yourself, have one, like buy a cookie or something like that. Like then it turns in like the next day it's like, well shit, I screwed up yesterday. Why not have another cookie today? I don't know. I find myself getting into that snowball mentality a lot easier than the just one mentality, because I've been in the just one mentality this entire quarantine, and we see where that's gotten me. So
I used to be the complete opposite. Now I have gotten it so much under control, but it was like, I'm not gonna do this tomorrow or the next day, so I need to eat as much as I can right now.
Really?
Like I'm just gonna throw away today. And so I have some stories. Oh my God, I have some stories. Okay. So there was one time at work, we had a meeting, and someone bought this gigantic cookie. It was the size of the Costco pizzas that you get, the large
Really?
one. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I'm really not kidding. And then someone also like baked like these the cookie crumble brownie things. I don't know. It was really good, but I was like, okay, I just have a piece. So I had one of the cookie crumble things, and it was like a square that big.
Show the camera.
Square that big.
Yeah.
I had one of those, a full one, and then I was like, I want a piece of the cookie. So I had some of it, and they were like, I'd say after it was said and done, like I only had one piece of the cookie at that point, but no one really ate any. Everybody ate like maybe like a slice of the cookie.
And I know you.
I'm not kidding. I ate the whole thing before I went home. The whole thing. And people don't help in their comments about it, because really what I had a binge eating disorder. Like I legit did. Yeah. And I don't know if it's just people's ignorance or they want to pretend like it's not a problem, but they'll be like, oh no, you work out all the time, you work out all the time, you'll be fine. You're tiny. Look at you, you're tiny. Yeah. It doesn't help. It really doesn't help. Or sometimes they'll like push food towards me because they think it's funny. That doesn't help either. They're just perpetuating the problem. So it got to a point where I had to put a sign on my door at work that said, please don't feed the Quila. After I got it in control, it was just more of like a comical thing. But at the time, like I really needed that, because people just wouldn't stop. Like it became like so funny. Like, oh, she works out all the time. She eats healthy. Let's give her a cookie. Let's give her a brownie. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
It's not healthy. I think people need to realize that people really do struggle internally with eating disorders, and you have to be cognizant of that and sensitive to it, just as you would as if someone were an alcoholic or someone had a mental disability or something like that, or a physical disability. If someone was in a wheelchair, you wouldn't go like laughing and like talking about legs around them. No, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's the same thing, like just pushing food towards me. I mean, nothing against them. I mean, it's innocence, but just to kind of educate people and why I kind of feel the way I feel. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of like my binge eating story there. It's one of them. But now I can look back at it and laugh, so that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's important with anything.
Yeah. And it wasn't too long ago. It was last year. Yeah. I think I kind of fell into this like habit of going back to eating the way I did before I even started lifting, like growing up, because like we were pretty poor. Like I grew up on Section 8 and food stamps, and so we would go, and we didn't have a car, so we went to the grocery store. I think we got our food stamps the 11th of every month. I remember, because after 9/11, we started to go on 9/11 anyway. But we go on the 11th of every month, and because we didn't have a car, we just went that one day, and there were 3 of us in the household, and I think we got maybe like $300 for 3 people to feed us for a month. And so we would buy as cheaply as we could to make sure that we eat throughout the month. And it was Tostino's pizzas, cup of noodles, like those cheap chicken strips and stuff like that. It was basically everything in a bag.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I grew up on. I drank sodas. I drank Kool-Aid. I drank exclusively Kool-Aid for like the first 12 years of my life. Like, I don't think I ever drank a glass of water or a bottle of water. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I didn't. But yeah, and I've always had this monster appetite, like just, I don't even know. And I've never been fat, but I can just put it away. Yeah. I don't even know where it goes. But the Tostino's pizzas, me as like a 7-year-old, I ate a whole one of those by myself, sometimes 2. And we used to pop them in the microwave. You ever do that? You're not supposed to. I think it even says on the box, do not microwave.
We made tacos out of ours.
Tacos?
Yeah. Just treat the pizza like a tortilla. I told you I was fat, right?
You gotta mention it.
Yeah, that's probably why. I think that's probably a good reason why. Like, we would literally make like taco meat and cheese and like make a taco inside of a pizza.
Oh my god. Like a Tostino's? Mm-hmm. Tostino's pizza?
Yeah, like these size pizzas.
Wow.
Like little personal ones.
Wow.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound very delicious.
It actually was awesome. I think honestly it was just I was working with what we had. Yeah. Type of deal. Like, had meat, had pizzas, no tortillas though. I'm not gonna replicate that. So.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
But to mirror what you were talking about earlier, I think that's kind of how a lot of kids grew up like us. Like, there was a big shift in the what's the word? I guess just nutrition in general in America, mm-hmm. where like we did shift to processed foods. We did shift to these bagged items and stuff like that. It was a huge like cultural thing. And I don't think people realize, like our parents specifically, I don't think they realize like the kind of like chemicals and like things that went into the processes of making those kinds of foods. So
some parents wouldn't even care if they did know. I know mine sure wouldn't.
That's true, but like I don't know. There was definitely an ignorant bliss back then about what was in our foods and stuff like that. So
yeah. Yeah. But even when I started lifting, I did not realize I was so ignorant. Like, I would see like people like scarfing down food like as a joke, and it'd be like, it's for the gains, you know, I gotta eat to feed my muscle. Yep. So I continued to just keep eating, like, and I would increase what I was eating. And so, you know, when you start working out, you have newbie gains. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, you have newbie gains. And so it was like a trick of my mind. Like, I was gaining all that muscle and losing all that fat because I was like shocking my body. My body wasn't used to it. Yeah. It's like putting it into overdrive. And so no matter what I ate, I still kept losing and gaining muscle. So I was like, okay.
This is how it works.
Yep. I'm just going to keep eating. And the more you eat, the more expensive your grocery bill gets, right? So I'm trying to keep the same bill, so I'm buying crap. I ate a lot of mac and cheese. Oh my God, I ate so much chicken Alfredo. It's disgusting. I'm surprised that's still my favorite food. I love chicken Alfredo, man. I make some good chicken Alfredo too. Yeah, once made it from scratch. I made the sauce and everything. It was so good.
I'm trying to think of what I really started eating when I first started lifting. I couldn't tell you. No? Really. I don't think I changed much about my diet, to be honest, because like a lot of what I was lifting or how I was lifting in college was just with friends. It was social more than anything else. So like we would go to lift and then we would hit Moe's afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't there was no nutrition side of my working out. But like,
you still saw gains.
No, I wouldn't say so. I wasn't in the gym, but like maybe twice a week at that point. So that couldn't. I don't think I would have seen any gains, regardless, had I been working out hella hard a couple times a week. I don't know. But I did start to lose weight just being in the gym. Yeah. And like not even like changing what I was eating that much. Maybe I was eating less a little, but like I was definitely losing weight. And I think that's what kind of like set me on the path to getting healthier and like and staying in the gym and be like, oh, this can like. It wasn't until that clicked that like I actually am losing a little weight and like figuring out how this works and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Interesting. I wonder if it's also a gender thing, maybe like a bro thing.
Maybe. I mean, it definitely started as a bro thing, going and just going just to be there with my friends, you know.
I had a realization just now that I kind of did the bro diet. I've never been very feminine. I actually once I met like this girl, no longer my friend. Anyway, but she told me, like, after we were friends for like a few months, she was like, you know, when I first met you, I thought you were gay. Like, that's kind of rude. And so, I mean, nothing against homosexuals or anything, but just to like assume that because of the way someone looks, like, you can't just assume things. Sure. And so I asked her why, and she said, well, you know, you were buff and you worked out. And I was like, so because I'm buff and I work out, that means I'm gay. I didn't say that actually, but that's what I was thinking. I just told her, okay, whatever. No, I'm not gay. But yeah, and so like that's kind of like a rude stereotype to just think that someone is a certain sexuality or a certain way or believe something because of the way they look. Just
because they do something that is more masculine.
Exactly.
Quote unquote.
But no, I ate with the intention of getting big. I was never like, I want to be thin. I was in women, like the first two things they always think about when they start working out that I see is I want to get a bigger butt and I want to get a smaller waist and abs.
Yep.
Always. I wanted abs, I'm not gonna lie, but I never even thought about my butt. I didn't do any glute bridges. I did no kickbacks, donkey kicks. I did none of those fire hydrant things. I never did that.
I know.
I know.
You have underactive glutes now because of it.
I know. I found out I need to do that. Yes. But, yeah, no pun intended. Hey. But anyway, those girls, they only focus on that. It's like, stop it. Stop. You need to work out every aspect of your body. You need to be balanced. You need to have balance. And it is definitely a myth. I know hundreds of people have already said this, and hopefully it's debunked. But women cannot gain muscle like men. You can't get bulky without at least maybe a dozen years of training under your belt.
Well, you need testosterone.
Yes.
Bottom line.
Or
which women produce, but
enhancements. Yeah. It is nearly impossible. Nearly impossible. I was eating like a dude, scarfing down chicken curry. So I had chicken Alfredo and then chicken curry. I would get about 3 plates for dinner. And no matter how much I ate, I was always hungry. Just always hungry. And then I started to hear about protein, like protein shakes. And at this time, I still wasn't tracking my macros. I didn't even know what macros were.
Yeah.
And I never heard that word. But protein. And then I got the cheapest ones I could find. And then I found like the most popular ones and the ones with like all the flavors. Like I got Snickerdoodle and all that and Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yep.
Couldn't tell you what company I went with. But it was really, really good.
We don't want to give them free advertising.
But it was really delicious. I think they
if they want us to advertise with us, they can pay us.
Sure. Hey, I don't even know your name, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But my acne wasn't getting that bad at that point. But then I had like some shit happen in my life and came to Austin, and then like I love DLB. But I tried her protein, like I started taking that. And that's when, for the first time in my life, I started to get chronic cystic acne. Like it was terrible. It was primarily on my cheeks and then underneath my chin. I still have scars to this day, which I'm sure you can see on here, but I no longer care. But it was just horrible acne, and I wasn't putting 2 and 2 together what was happening. I just thought, like, I was trying to find like all these solutions. I was putting baking soda and lemon on my face and stuff every day, and it was so bad and so embarrassing. And then I started to like really dive in deep to like nutrition and holistic things and being all natural. And I basically, I still didn't find what happened. So I thought my main problem, because I knew I was lactose intolerant. Lactose is sugar. I know that now.
We learned.
I know that. I is smart. I is important. I is kind. But yeah, I started to think like, okay, dairy. It's dairy. Everybody's saying it's dairy. Dairy causes instant acne. We're not supposed to be drinking cows. We don't consume cow hormones, which is true. That's 150% true. I am down with that. But that wasn't my only problem. So I stopped dairy altogether, but I was still eating a lot of sugar. You know what my favorite candy is, right?
Candy?
Yeah, my favorite candy. Candy bar. No?
I don't know if I know that.
Yes,
oh, yeah, I do know this. Reese's.
Thank you. Are you
it's
new?
Not a candy bar.
That's why I said candy bar.
Okay.
Quotations.
I just don't see you like candy, so.
Oh, Butterfinger too. Yeah, Hershey's. I love dark chocolate.
What were you saying?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh my god.
I go off on tangents.
You do.
I'm working on it.
We've been through 3 stories, I think, since the start of the first one.
I'm working on it. So backtracking. So I asked why I like Reese's, and you guessed it. And then I was talking about sugar and lactose. Oh, dairy. Okay. So I stopped dairy, but I was still eating a lot of sugar, and I was still eating a lot of processed foods. And then I dived a little deeper, and this was pretty recently, maybe like beginning of 2019. I was like, oh, okay, I'm starting to get it. So I changed up everything. I started to realize what I was allergic to. There's like this thing that you can do where it's like the elimination diet. So you find something that you think is a trigger.
I've seen people do that with gluten.
Mm-hmm. So to kind of explain to the listeners, you keep your diet as is. You take out one item from your diet, like eggs. And then for about 2 weeks, and you see like how your body's responding. And then if nothing changes and you're fine, then eggs weren't the problem. So you keep eggs still out of your diet. Some might put it back in, depending on how long you go without it. Say if a month or 2, you can put it back in. Mm-hmm. I'm not a doctor. 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 Take my advice with a grain of salt. But and then you take out something else, and so on and so on and so forth, until you realize what the trigger is. If it goes away, then that's the trigger. So I kind of did that a little bit. I played around with it because I couldn't really afford a doctor at the time, and like if you want to get that type of testing for what you're allergic to, it's pretty expensive, and it's kind of a time-consuming process. And I find that most doctors really don't even care about their patients enough to invest that kind of time. That's a whole nother problem and a whole nother episode. But so I just took it upon myself. So what I've realized that are triggers for me, I can't consume egg yolks. I can eat egg whites every meal, all day, every day, and I'm fine. The second that I consume egg yolks, I break out in acne. Sugar, any sugar, unfortunately, triggers me, so I just have to, like, even fruit. If I eat a lot of fruit, that'll trigger me. So I try and just, like, keep that minimal. I'll probably just eat, like, 1 serving of fruit per day.
Yeah.
But lots of processed foods, still dairy. So I had to change up a lot of things. I think the first thing that I changed up was my protein powder. So I went with True Nutrition. And they are amazing. You've heard of True Nutrition, right? Did you hear them before I started using them?
Again, we shouldn't be saying these names unless they're going to pay us.
But I like them so much. I stand behind everything that they're for. Okay. Like, they have really great ingredients. But that's, like, the only thing that I've found that my body can tolerate. And then I brought something with me today, my friends. I'm going to be like Mr. Rogers. Look what I have here.
I have a little friend here.
I have a little friend.
Bernie higher.
Yeah, I don't know, I can see. I have a little friend, and I'm wearing a black sweater with Stranger Things. It's getting creepy. Anyway, all right. So, Pulse Lesion, this is a pre-workout that I had to go with because I started to notice that other pre-workouts would give me intense stomach aches, like intense. It usually felt, and it was nausea. I'm not sure if I ever actually threw up from it, but I know I got to the point where I was like, almost running to the bathroom. But that's the only thing that I can now consume. It doesn't have any artificial sugars in there or anything like that. It's sweetened with stevia, so I've been using that. But in all honesty, it's exhausting eating like me.
Yeah, I bet.
It's exhausting being me, like constantly having to either say no to things or be like, okay, I'm gonna feel like shit later. And I wish I could just eat like you, to be honest. I really do.
I don't know. There's times where I wish that there was more restrictions on my diet and like forced upon me restrictions. I mean, like lactose intolerance and stuff like that. Just because like I get unhinged when I eat. Like I'll binge and like eat like just some of the worst stuff that I can think of sometimes. So I don't know.
I've never actually really seen that, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. It's not often for sure, but I mean like if I do it, I'll grab like a candy bar and like another candy bar and maybe a bag of chips, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
What's your vice?
Gummy candies, I think. Any kind of gummy candy. Don't know why.
And you don't like chocolate on chocolate?
Lifesavers are good. Yeah. No, I don't like chocolate on chocolate.
Crazy.
Nope.
To an extent. Like if you have chocolate ice cream with fudge and dark chocolate chips in it and all that.
All of those things by themselves is too much chocolate for me. Chocolate ice cream is too much.
Chocolate chips.
What else did you say?
Fudge.
You said fudge. Yeah, fudge is.
Well, you don't want to use fudge by itself.
Yeah, just straight fudge is too much.
We'll agree to disagree. On some, to an extent.
I don't disagree with you. I totally respect your opinion.
Anyway, what chocolate spaghetti? Isn't that a thing? I heard that before.
Chocolate spaghetti?
Yeah.
Never heard of such a thing.
No?
No.
Oh, I'm thinking of Elf. I remember when he puts all the like the syrup
like
on it.
Dessert spaghetti.
Yeah, he really ate that. That was nasty.
I saw a thing today, speaking of like really did something in movies. I saw a thing. You know the movie Live and Let Die, the James Bond movie?
No.
Probably have never seen it, I imagine. But
no.
It's one of the old James Bond movies from like the 60s or 70s. And I remember there being a scene in the movie where he's like trapped on this little like island thing and there's a bunch of crocodiles coming after him. And he runs over like the island and he jumps across crocodiles to get off of the island, like he's like a bunch of crocodiles in the water. He jumps over them, like steps on crocodiles to get to the other side of the island. I just thought it was fake. You know, I thought he was just like jumping on fake alligators.
No,
that was a real fucking thing. I saw a video on.
That's animal cruelty.
100% animal cruelty. I saw a video on Reddit today of like every attempt that stuntman had to do jumping across live alligators.
No.
Yes.
No.
I couldn't believe it.
Have they made that? I know we're getting off topic. We'll get back on. I know I'm working on my tangents. I'm
the one who I think went off on this, unless you're totally bringing up something new.
Kinda. I'm gonna do it anyway. So you remember? I think it was like last year talking about putting in the Oscars the category for stuntmen.
Okay, sorry, you said pudding, and I heard pudding, like like the dessert.
Yeah,
pudding.
You were a fat kid.
Yep.
I'm just kidding. That's mean. But yeah, remember how they're gonna put
VFX or stuntman?
Yeah. They really need to do that. There are stuntmen and women that have died, become paralyzed. There's
a lot of categories that should be in the Oscars that should get recognition.
Yeah. Just for our entertainment. That's crazy. Yeah. I respect them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're not fat. I take that back. I apologize. Okay. We're trying to send a positive message. I'm trying to be a kinder person. You're beautiful.
Thank you.
In every which way possible.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you.
Yeah. Okay, so reverse. So we're talking about chocolate on spaghetti, and then we went back to. I'm just kidding. I know where we are.
So convoluted. I don't have a clue where we've been or where we are.
I'm just kidding. That's why I have notes. yeah. But yeah. So health, and you can basically eat what you want. Oh, but yes. You wish that you didn't have that issue. You've never had a pimple in your life.
That's not true. I had one on my ass like last week.
On your face. You just have that one little cute mole. Yeah. That's it.
I used to get pimples up under my hair a lot.
As a teenager, I'm guessing, right?
Long hair. No, early college, mid-college.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh. I honestly, yeah, I guess I did have acne in the beginning of probably like 8th, 9th grade was the last of it. Yeah. For me.
I think it's interesting. I have unintentionally, I said I wasn't going to lean that far. I have unintentionally continued to follow the trends of fitness in terms of nutrition. So when I started out, I did the bro diet because it's what you're supposed to do, right? That was like 4 years ago, maybe. And then when I peaked, I knew I could tell you everything. I could calculate my macros based on my weight at the drop of a dime, or is it the drop of a hat? Both, whatever. Before
drop of a pen.
That's about sound.
You can still drop it.
Yeah.
And here, fun fact: they fall at the exact same rate.
I know. You're funny.
You didn't sound so convincing.
You was smart. You was kind. You was important. Thank you. That's the order. I said it wrong last time. Yeah. But yeah, I knew everything about nutrition, and then discovered, like everyone else, MyFitnessPal, and so I was tracking my macros. But then I kept seeing like these posts where people were talking about, what's that thing? If it fits your macros. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If IIFYT. Yeah. IIFYM.
If it fits your macros. Yeah.
Yeah. IIFYM.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on things that are acronyms that have no right being acronyms. If it doesn't roll off the tongue easily, don't make it a fucking acronym. Sorry.
That's the only thing I can think of. That's that. What else is?
I feel like there's lots of things like that.
Really?
I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I've run into that issue lots of times in my life. I'm like, why is that an acronym? Either it's too long and common, like it'll be like 8 things long.
Those punk rock songs though needed, I feel like Fall Out Boy, where they have like
giant song name.
I like to sit under a tree and write poems because my girlfriend broke up with me and I think I'm going to kill myself.
I always thought that a funny name for a song, because you know how like in your car it always says like the first like few words of the song and then it will scroll through, right?
Yeah.
I always thought a funny name for a pop punk rock song would be, or I guess a pop punk song would be, You Gotta Let It Scroll to Read the Whole song name or something like that.
That's clever. Yeah. You thought of a clever, what's the name for your restaurant? Didn't you have a clever name for your restaurant? You had a clever name from something.
Oh, What the Pho?
Yeah.
For pho?
Yeah, What the Pho. I'm still curious if that would be allowed.
I don't see why not.
I don't know. I just feel like someone would make a fuss out of it. People try and make a fuss out of everything these days.
True.
Yeah.
And then I can just make another restaurant called What's All the Pho About?
It can be like right next to it, and it can sell like the Asian ice cream.
Yep.
Yeah. Frozen Oreos. No, deep fried Oreos. That's what they do, right?
Who?
I don't know. I feel like you put me in a trap there. You want me to say a certain thing. I didn't realize where is this rebounding from me with the... Yep. Yeah. Anywho. Oh, no, I won't get on another tangent. I was going to talk about that Bernie Mac show where the little kid went, anywho.
So then you talk about it anyway.
Oh. My mind is like, it's like the wheel that the mouse runs on, but it's like, yes, and there are multiple mice and there are multiple wheels that get tangled up in each other.
But there's only one mouse, and he can't decide what wheel he wants to be on.
Yes.
And sometimes he trips and does that thing where it goes.
Yes.
Goes like flying around.
Yes.
That's pretty accurate.
Yes. I always tell at least 10 stories at one time.
Yeah, before you finish the first one.
Yes. I need to watch Ant-Man more and take lessons from his friend that tells those stories. He's like, so what happened? Yeah, but as far as what I wanted to talk about next was our peaks and what we found to be working. That's where I was getting before I went off on a tangent. So I realized like the calories in versus calories out, and I started to take that to the extreme.
I remember.
While it might not seem low to people who don't really know much about nutrition and fitness and macros, but I got down to 1,400 calories. I was eating 1,400 calories a day, 1,426 to be exact.
You said got down, but I think that's a little low for where you should have been, right?
No, exactly. That's where I'm going.
Okay.
Yeah. So people know I'm 5'3". I fluctuate normally and healthily between about 135 and about 142, 43. I feel my best when I'm about 135. I look my best, in my opinion, and what I'm working on. I look my best when I'm in the 120s. And every BMI calculator or whatever, every doctor, they would tell me, they haven't explicitly, but I know they would have, that I'm supposed to be... Shut up, I know.
Okay. All right. I'll visit that in a second.
I know.
I'll visit that in a second.
No. But I mean, there are charts. The charts that they put up.
Okay.
They tell me that I should weigh 125 pounds. And if I'm over 125 pounds, I'm obese. My ass weighs 143 pounds today, and I ain't obese.
Yeah, and that's on a BMI chart, right?
Yeah.
BMI is bullshit. If you have an ounce of muscle on your body, then it's going to tell you you're obese.
Exactly. That's where I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I get what you're saying. You're just reiterating. But yeah. Yes. But like that's my qualm. Is that a word?
Yeah.
That's my qualm with them and that whole thing. But so in my mind, ever since I was younger, I was like, in my mind, I have to weigh like 120 pounds, 118. I wanted to get down to 115 pounds before, and I'll tell you why. Tatiana Ali once said in an episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that she weighed 118 pounds. She's taller than me. That didn't click in my mind. I'm pretty sure she's taller than me. She looks like to be about like 5'6".
Okay.
But I was like, she looks great. I want to weigh 118 pounds. So I never told you that, but I was striving for that number. And I want to be 115 so I can look even better than Tatiana Ali. That's Ashley from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, by the way. I know. You get so, your head gets so skewed, and it's...
I feel like it's even worse for women, to be honest.
You know, I always thought that. I don't think so. I think it's equally as bad for men. I don't feel sorry for any one gender in particular.
No.
I think, and maybe even more so men, because they feel like they're expected to be muscular.
Sure.
It's needed to be. You know what I mean? You know what I'm getting at? Like,
yeah, but I never felt like I needed to be that way. No.
That's good.
The only time I felt like I needed to change was when I started. I mean, not started, but I don't know. Just realizing that I'm fat. You know what I mean? Like bending over to tie my shoe and getting up winded, like that kind of thing.
Because we really do want to strive to have like positivity in our podcast. Let's stop calling ourselves fat and stop referring to ourselves as fat. No, I get it. I know you tell me this off camera.
Really?
But even like you do it to yourself, and I don't want you to do that. I want you to like see the good and see that you're not fat. You have a lot of muscle. You have a lot of muscle. Your shoulders are so broad that you can't fit through some doorways. Come on. Overweight. That's fair.
No.
Okay, that's fair. So overweight. So okay, going back to what you're saying. Oh, you finished?
I'm done.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, overweight. But yeah, I don't know. I was like striving to reach that number. I was like, I had to get to that number. I have to get to that number. So I just kept dropping my calories down. And at the same time, I was upping both my intensity, duration, and frequency in the gym. I was running myself ragged to the ground. And I think September 7th, 2019 was the turning point. That's when I started to go up because I was like, I'm just gonna splurge. I'm just gonna splurge.
Your birthday, by the way.
Yep, my birthday. And then I realized I don't want to stop eating. I want to keep eating. And then ironically, like, I didn't watch her videos beforehand. I did not watch them, but Stephanie Buttermore, she did the All-In Challenge. What she talks about, it's verbatim to me. So I had to write it down. So these were some of the symptoms that I got from under eating. So I got acne again, even though my diet was clean, and it wasn't even diversified. I experienced hair loss. My hairline started thinning. I have locks, so that was a no-go. You could really see my scalp even more so than you should. And then I got, most importantly, amenorrhea. So I lost my period. I lost my period for a total of 9 months, ironically. Wait. It's back now. I really just had that epiphany. Oh God. But yeah, I lost my period, which really isn't funny. It's very unhealthy. I thought it was. I was so stupid. I thought it was great at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I don't have my period. I don't have to worry about that at all. But yeah, I just was not healthy. My body was shutting down. And I started to have so many issues. I know a lot of them were also perpetuated by the fact that I failed to stretch ever. But yeah, and then I realized I gotta eat. And so, up my calories to 1,900. No, first 1,700. I started to feel good and I started to lift heavier. And then 1,900. The one thing that happened and is still happening is that I've gotten more sluggish. I had more energy when I was eating less, in terms of, like, I could do more burpees, but I couldn't lift more weight.
Yeah.
Now, I can't do more than 30 seconds of burpees without, like, wanting to pass out. But
well, it's just, I think that's we're detrained right now.
Yeah.
We are definitely not in a trained.
Running became hard for me though.
Yeah. Did you ever run?
I mean, I was running the same amount that I would have before, but it was just easier in the rower. So like any type of cardio.
At the gym. I got you.
Yeah, any cardio it does become more difficult when you gain weight because you're carrying more weight. Duh. So, but now I think of it more logically, and I'm just trying to accept it. I will say it now. To be completely honest, I am not satisfied with the state of my physique. I am not, and I feel like it's okay because I'm not going back to the habits I once had. I'm not restricting, and I'm not binge eating. That's the most important part. I'm not binge eating.
I'm just happy that you can let your hair down, for lack of a better term, let your hair down about food, and just be a little more relaxed and stuff like that. You seem so much more happy just in general than you ever did when you were basically starving yourself for it wasn't healthy. I didn't know how to tell you that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I was just chasing things, and I wanted to compete.
Yeah.
But I was in competition mode for a year and a half.
Yeah. Then you can't do that.
Yeah. Definitely can't. I'll never go back. I'll never go back to that. Like right now, I've dropped my calories down. I haven't been counting. That's the thing. I haven't counted for 6 months. We're
both basically intuitive dieting at this point.
But you did keto.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually where I got down to what I would call my peak, was doing keto. And I don't necessarily I'm not gonna sit here and say that keto is the all end all be all diet of weight loss. If you want to lose weight, you need to do keto. But I think what it was for me was just being stringent about something. Because keto, for those that don't know what keto is, it's restricting your body of carbs so that your body has to produce another type of energy source, which is called they're called ketones, and which is where the name comes from, and that's where you get your energy from, is from those ketones, and it's essentially starving yourself is like kind of like the workaround way of doing it, because ketones are actually what your body produces when you're actually starving. If you don't eat anything for days, your body produces ketones for energy. So you're basically like artificially starving yourself. You're tricking your body into thinking you're starving to produce these ketones. Anyway,
I didn't know that.
To like check when you're on keto, you can check like what your ketones are at by doing like a finger prick, like basically like a diabetic or something. And you do your finger prick and you put the little machine up to it, and you can see what your ketones are at for the day. So like your ketones would be anywhere between like 0.5 ketones like per milliliter of blood or whatever it is like that's where you're considered to be in ketosis. Like that's the start of ketosis. Up to like 3.5, I saw like 3.8 on mine. Apparently that's like toxicity levels of high. But like it can be like in that range. It can be higher, but that's like gets dangerous. But because you can check with the blood, because I was able to track like down to like such a scientific level basically of my bloodstream. Like I know if I check my blood and I get like a 2.3, 2.4, 2.5 ketones, I know I'm doing really well on keto right now. And that right there is validation that I'm doing well. That's all I need. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. With
diets, like that validation doesn't come till so far later that it gets it just gets debilitating. Like you don't want to do it anymore. Like you feel like you're not getting anywhere when you are. You absolutely are. Any kind of diet is taking you to that next level. Changing anything is gonna bring changes over time.
Yep.
So like it's hard to see it that way, but I think that's why keto was so successful for me, because I was able to like track it down to such a minute level.
Do you think you're gonna get back to that? I know we've talked about it, but
I would honestly love to, because like keto, I felt the best that I've ever felt on keto. Like my workouts were like most days pushing 3 hours long, because I would I'd warm up, I'd do my lifting. I would lift for about an hour and a half. I'd do abs for about 30 minutes, and then if I still felt like I would do cardio for an hour, and I would usually end up doing cardio. So most of my keto workouts were 3 hours long.
Wow.
And that was just because I had like that energy, and I felt
5 days a week.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
I felt the best that I've ever felt, and like the most athletic that I've ever felt in my entire life.
Interesting.
So I mean, and again, I'm not saying that everybody should go out and like try keto and like that it's the end all be all, but it definitely worked for me, and it worked for me because I think I have that type of personality where I just I don't see results right away, and I wanna give up.
Yeah.
So
what people need to realize on keto is that you can't just go out and buy things that say keto friendly.
Absolutely. 100%. I would get so mad walking around the store, like seeing like keto shake. We saw keto shake one time. I was like, I'm just curious. I looked at the back. It had, I think, twice as many carbs as fat, which is like
carbs are sugar.
Yeah, the cardinal sin of keto. Yeah, keto, like you're keeping your so like your macro split, right?
Yeah.
With keto, you're keeping your carbs under. I was keeping mine under 5%, but it's like under 10%. It's very little carbs.
What I really like ever since we've met, and like the change that you brought about to my diet, is realizing I have never ever thought that fat was an enemy, but I followed what they all said almost to a T. Like I saw somewhere that I shouldn't be consuming any more than 30 grams of fat. Bullshit. Bullshit.
30 grams? Not even 30%? Jesus. Yeah.
30 grams.
Yeah.
So now
that's like hurting your brain functionality at that point, I feel like.
I hope not. That would explain some things. Maybe that's where my mice tangents come from. Oh man. Oh no. But yeah. See my tangents. I need some fat. My head. I'm just kidding. That's a hangover. Oh, I said we did tequila shots. I had a little bit of a hangover.
Finish what you were saying.
Oh. I'm not really really do. My head hurts. I need a burrito. I don't know.
No?
I don't know.
Got nothing. You were talking about how fat is the enemy. And...
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I was like, I need to get 30 grams. And you know me. They say 30, so I'm going to do 25.
Right.
But now I'm eating 70 grams of fat. Yeah. The thing is, I don't want to track what I eat.
Yeah.
Because that takes the fun out of eating. I love to eat. I love to eat so much. And I don't want to have to think about what I'm eating.
Yeah.
But...
get to the point where you can pay someone else to do that for you.
Yes and no. I don't want anyone to have to think of it. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
I want to enjoy life, and I want to eat something when I want to eat something.
Yeah.
But my body, so I don't know if it's subjective on what you can saying like what body type you have. Like I'm pretty sure like I would classify myself as a mesomorph. Mm-hmm. So I can gain weight and lose weight quite easily. Gain muscle relatively easy and lose it. So I walk a thin line sometimes. Like if I were to go ahead and start doing 1,600 calories a day, I wouldn't do that. And working out like intensely 5 days a week, 6 days a week, I would drop back down to 120 in no time. It would probably be a month and a half. I'm not even kidding. From 143. It would be so quick. And I know that because it happened.
Yeah.
Whereas conversely, after my birthday, it was between my birthday and then when I met your parents, whenever you got your hernia surgery. Ooh, that's a whole nother topic.
Late September.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, me too, until now.
In parts.
Because I just put that to when your parents came.
Yeah.
Look at you, mouse tangents. But
that was you. You brought that up.
Yes. Oh, no, never mind.
This episode is going to be Quila and the Mice. That's what it's called.
Of Quila and Men. Get it? You get it?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Sounds like a porn, but I love it.
You killed it. Okay, so yeah, but I had already started gaining so much weight at that point because I had started. Oh, I never finished. So Stephanie Buttermore, she did the all-in thing where she basically she eats until satiation. I love that fucking woman so much. And I stand for everything that comes out of her mouth.
Yeah.
People need to listen to her.
But let me back up. If you were in her position, I mean, just judging based off what you've been saying about yourself lately, I don't know. I don't think you'd like that. You know what I mean?
If
you had put on 30 or 40 pounds like she did.
That's why I didn't go fully all in.
Yeah.
I told you. I was like, I can't do it because I I told myself I would never get to a point where I was, in my life ever, where I was, I don't want to say that word because Stephanie Buttermore is not fat. That woman is not fat. She is beautiful. She looks perfect. Like, I love her so much. Oh my God. She looks, but she carries it well. That's why. And then at first you do look fat because you retain all this water and you swell, and you have to wait for that to go away. And then you also start to shrink back down to your ideal weight. But anyway, I went partially all in. So for me to eat to satiation would require me to eat about, I'd say 3,500 calories. You say that's fair? 4,000 calories a day. I'm not going to do that for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
That's a lot of eating and that's a lot of money. I'm frugal. But yeah, I think what we need to realize as a society, as a whole, especially as a westernized culture, is that we need to find balances. Everyone needs to work on balances. You can't take it to the extreme. I hear about women that are eating 1,000 calories a day. That messes up your hormones, your metabolism, which are pretty much the same thing to an extent. But and you can't go overeating, which I think America has the most problem with. You can't just go overeating. That's doing yourself a disservice. You're not, it's not holding yourself up to a standard that you should.
Yeah.
And
some people just don't care about that standard though. They want to enjoy their life. They want to enjoy their cake when they have their cake and eat it too.
We finally realized what that meant. Oh my God, that was so life-changing.
Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be back next week.
This has been The Whey.
Yeah. Also, catch us on Spotify and
all major streaming services.
Everywhere else that Anchor posts podcasts, because I don't know. But yeah, for sure, Spotify and Apple Podcasts, at least. So, all right.
Hasta luego.
Bye.
Bye.